It was good, everybody. Hope you guys are all well. I wanted to share this story real quick. I don't really know if it's considered spiritual, but it did start off spiritual for me, so that's why I was like, let me post it on here. I was thinking of posting it on this other channel I had where I would just post random stuff because I saw it's been growing out of nowhere, just getting like subscribers. So I was like, maybe I should post something. It's been like months, maybe even a year since I posted on there. But I'll just post it on here. So anyways, I believe on August 5th, this new movie called Bullet Train's coming out that I had worked on. And, it was funny because when I worked on this movie, it happened to be the anniversary of my brother's passing, the 2-year anniversary, right? So, like there's all these, like, there's endless jobs, right, with the acting stuff for people that don't know. Like, I've been paid to laugh, like, just people laughing at a thing. I've been a laugher, this, that, even, so on this job, it was to play a dead body, right? Like I had, got paid before, like on Westworld, for those of you guys that are familiar on Westworld, which I wasn't going to do because I was like, but, like with the whole acting thing, like I'm union and everything, so, it's decent. It's pretty good money to just lay down and take a nap sometimes, so I was like, I'll do it, whatever. But they told me not to. That was the funny thing. So let me get into the spiritual part. Like, I was getting the thing to not do it. I was being told spiritually, don't do it. And I was like, huh? I was like, well, I thought it was me overcoming, like, the trauma, right? Like, oh, it's on my brother's anniversary. I'm going to play a dead body. And, I was like, maybe it's maybe it's just me in my head thinking I'm going to be traumatized by it. So I talked myself out of it and just submit it, and I got it, right? And so they, whatever. It was like, okay, you're going to play a dead body. Then, we had to get, like, we go get COVID tested, right? Before every single acting job, you go get COVID tested during, for the last, whatever, 2 years or however it's been. So, but if you don't show up to work, you don't get paid for the COVID thing. And like I said, since I'm union, you get paid, a decent amount just to go take the COVID test. And but if you don't show up to work, then you don't see that money, right? So the day before we had to go work, the casting director messages, oh, don't forget to take like an extra pair of underwear, this and that. You're gonna be drenched. And I was like, oh, hell no. Because it said it was going to be by the beach, and, it's February, so it was still winter. It's cold. I was like, nah, it's not worth it now. So I messaged the casting director. I was like, hey, why didn't you say we were going to get wet? I would have never submitted for the job. Or I think maybe she messaged me back once, and then I was like, well, I would have never submitted for the job if I knew we were going to get wet. And then she never responded, right? And I was like, and she had done that before on another movie, like, so it was the second time she had done that where they failed to mention something just so you could go work. And then when you're there, it's like something you didn't agree to. And of course you have a choice. You could be like, screw this, I ain't doing it. And then whatever, it's whether you get thrown off the job or whatever. But anyways, so I was like, all right, I'm just going to show up. And then over there, I'll tell them like, I ain't doing it. Because, like I said, I wouldn't have been paid for my day I wasted to go take the COVID test. So anyways, I go to work, and there's supposed to be 12 of us. 2 didn't even show up. And then the other 10, everybody's like, yeah, man, I didn't agree to it. I was like, did you guys say anything? And everyone's like, no. So I was the only one that actually messaged the casting director, like, hey, like, I wouldn't have came to work if this was the case. So anyways, whatever, everyone's cool, so I'll ask, screw it, like all these guys, like, what it is what it is. I'm here, whatever, we change into whatever for the scene. And then so we go, and I don't know, I mean, the movie's coming out in a couple of days, so I don't feel like I'm ruining anything. Well, I just won't say it, because, technically we're not supposed to say this and that, but after, like, I'll show a picture of the scene that I'm in. But anyways, it's like, we're in the scene playing like a dead body, right? And so, we're laying there, and then, they put on the Hollywood magic. There's all this rain coming down. but it was exaggerated, right? Because we're supposed to be in a place where it's like kind of raining a lot. So we're there, I don't know for how long. The sun's like almost starting to set as we're starting to film. So we're doing, I think we're probably like an hour into, just over and over. They keep reshooting the scene, right? Over and over. We're by the beach. So next thing you know, the wind comes in and everything. And so it just starts freezing. I don't know, my body starts shaking, right? And in my head, I'm like, oh, what the hell? Like, nah, I'm tougher like than this. Like, I could do it, I've been in North Dakota in negative 50 degrees with the wind chill. So I'm psyching myself out, but my body's just like, hey, screw you. It's just like, I'm shaking like crazy. So finally, in the middle of everything, I just stand up and I'm like, who's in charge? I'm just like upset, and it's pretty unheard of, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just, that's pretty much all I'm doing. It's like, it's basically like background is your category. So I'm playing like this dead body, and it's that. But after that, I just had it. I mean, it was the anniversary of my brother's passing. So it wasn't like I was in the best of moods anyway. So it was like the perfect circumstance that I was like, and I was like, man, they warned me not to do it. So I'm just so upset. I'm like, who's in charge? And then I don't know if it's the assistant director or the director. I didn't really know who was who. Comes up to me and I'm like, that's it, I'm not working no more. I'm like, I'm shaking, I'm this, that. I'm like, forgetting. They're and I think I was leaving. I feel nauseous. And then so they send the medic over, then they're like, they stop the whole production. They send the medic over, they bring us we're gonna bring you hot tea. They bring heaters, everything, like hot tea, heaters, towels, all this stuff. And the medic, like I told her, like, I'm super thirsty, and she's like, oh wow. She's like, yeah, you were getting, like, your body was shaking so much you were burning up all your water, so that's why you're so thirsty. And I was like, oh wow. So they have us all there for like an hour. They let us like relax and get warm and take off our wet clothes, all this stuff, right? So it's just, we're doing all this stuff. And then so they had to come pretty much like, oh, is it okay? Can we do? Because, oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So I'm in the scene, like, I'm right by, like, the main actors. The two main actors in that scene come up. So there's two of the main actors in the movie. So they're right behind me, like, doing some stuff. And I'll put it to you like this. Even, like, one of them, like, I think the machete might have been not perfectly good, but they're still chopping up stuff. And it hit me on my head even. It didn't cut me by some miracle. But even that, I like made a sound, and then you hear the two main actors like, oh shoot, I think the machete hit him in the head. And then like someone asked me like, hey, are you okay? So I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. But that thing fell on my damn head, and they're like, oh wow. So I was even upset about that. So I think maybe that even pushed me like, okay, we're over here freezing. You drop a damn machete on my head, you like idiots, the main actors, and you know what I'm saying, all this stuff. So I was like, screw it. So that's, when I stood up, I was like, that's it, I'm not working no more, which is kind of unheard of, right? Like, I stopped the whole damn production, like, not being, like, one of the main actors and nothing. It's just, but since I was established in the shot, they needed me there, because they had already been doing all these takes for, like, an hour with me right there, right next to the main actor, so they needed me in the shot. If not, I would have probably been disposable, right? But anyways, so then, all that happens, and what do you call it? So whatever, we're over there for an hour. Then they kind of plead like, oh, can you please, we won't use the rain no more. So I'm guessing they're going to do it with CGI or something. They're like, we're not going to use the rain no more, blah, blah. So, okay, well, we lay down. Oh, yeah, and one guy didn't even come back. So out of the 10 of us, there was one guy that didn't even come back because he was feeling, so everybody was feeling bad. I was just the only one that spoke up. Again, just like with the email. I was the only one that spoke up. So one guy didn't even come back because he was feeling horrible. So, there's even this other older guy that was like, just like, he looked like he was about to die, but oh yeah. So that's how they got us back. They're like, hey, can we go back? We're gonna give you an extra $100 just to do a couple shots, like no rain. Okay, cool. Like the other guys were like, yeah, come on. I'm like, all right, fine. So everyone was gonna get, out of all 10 of us that were there, we're gonna get an extra $100 just because it's funny, just because of the rain. It's like they're only gonna give you an extra $19, which was dumb, right? And then they're like, okay, here's an extra $100. We're not gonna use the rain no more. Okay, fine. Then we're there, and then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we're gonna turn on the rain. And I stand up. I'm like, no, I'm not working. And they're like, oh, come on. Then they come and they're like, we'll give you another $100. Just one shot with the rain. I'm like, oh my God, just one. I was like, if you don't just one, then I'm not doing it. And then like, okay, we're gonna get. So everyone got an extra. All 10 of us like got an extra $100 just for the. And they're like, yeah, and after we're gonna have warm showers waiting for you guys. We're gonna have robes. We're gonna have this and that. And I'm like, fine. So we do the shot, just one shot like they promised, and then that was it. And then one of the production guys is like, man, I hope everyone thanks you for those extra $200 you just got everybody. And I was like, yeah, whatever. I forgot it. I think a couple guys said thank you, but it was like, I guess I bring all that up because, that's all it takes, right? Like it's like when people, like we don't think like the people above, there's movie with millions of Brad Pitt's in it, right? So it's that new Brad Pitt movie. So it's this movie with and Sandra Bullock, I think. So this new, this production with all these millions of dollars. And here's, just me, right? like putting a stop to all this production, and they just had to. They didn't want to stop to like how I was already in the shot, so it was like. They could have given us the $200 to begin with. That's how easy. It wasn't nothing to them. They were going to give us $19 for getting wet. And then I got 10 people an extra $200, which is $2,000, right? That they had no problem throwing. We probably could have even got more, right? Just for standing up and being like, no, the power of no, right? The power of no. But it was funny because even though I was warned not to do it, after, it's kind of like the saying, like God will make something good out of something that was bad, right? Like I didn't listen, I went, but then I guess they used me to stand up to this, this whole big old production and kind of stand up for people. And that's how it is sometimes. You just have to be pushed. So that's the point. It's like so many things in life we haven't been pushed to the point because it was just the perfect storm. I did not care about this stupid movie on the anniversary of my brother's passing, right? I did not care. Nothing. Like, I don't care, whatever, a movie, Brad Pitt, this and that, whoever the famous director was. I didn't care about none of that. It was the 2nd year anniversary of my brother's passing. I'm right there, like, the casting director lied to us. She never told us we were going to get wet. After, I think after I probably didn't end up working. I had done that ambulance movie before that with the whole Michael Bay movie. And even that, they didn't tell us certain things. So I was like, oh, this lady's like a liar. She'll hire you. And then after, there's always something. I had other friends too that had experiences too. Yeah, man, I had to keep. And then that they didn't work with her for a while. Because, that's kind of, when they feel like they have the power, people bully you into doing stuff, right? Or you're like, okay, I need the money. That's how it works. That's why you got to be self-sufficient, right? Like, you got to be able to stand to where people, you're willing to walk away. And that's the sad part about life, right? Until you're willing to walk away from mistreatment, then people will see like, oh, damn, like, they either see your value or they don't. And then you walk off. But you always got to be willing to walk away if you want to make change in anything, right? So not to get all like political, but why not make a lesson out of that, right? Like when you have, I guess we just haven't been pushed to the point. When we get pushed to the point, because I always tell people the most important is minimize everything. Everything you could think of on a big scale, if you minimize it, you will see it's not impossible. Everything, if you can make it to just how it relates to your life, then it's not impossible anymore. It's not something so like, oh, but we can't make this change. We can't nothing. It's the same thing. Everything on a small scale is a bigger scale, and you could put it in that context, and you'll see how things can be changed. It starts like that, right? Like if you could do something like that on a little scale, then it could be done on a big scale. When people are pushed enough and they finally say no, that's when and the thing about a company, because they'll either do that, because I've been there. I remember working at a company when we were trying to bring in the union, and they're like, we'll shut the whole thing down before we become union. And people didn't vote for the union. And as soon as they saw the union didn't pass, they mistreated the employees so bad. Everyone was like miserable. They're like, oh, and for me, I was like, I told you, I voted for the union. I was like, why? No, I didn't. I was like, okay, well then why are you crying? Like, you didn't want the union. I did my research. Like, I know, like, my brother had worked for the union all those years. I had never worked for a union, but it was like, so I voted for the union because I asked. I did research. I was like, is it worth it? Some people said no. Some people said yes. But the yes seemed better. It made sense to me. So I was like, all right, I voted. And then once the union didn't pass, they mistreated everybody. But they brought that fear like, oh, we'll close the company down before we go union, right? And they probably would have. But you'll never know if you don't take the chance with things, right? So whatever, there. I just want to share that story because it was funny to me. It was funny to me that, but it was like spiritually they had told me don't do it. And there I go, I'm sure they already knew. They were like, this guy's not going to listen, but we'll make a lesson out of it, and like I said, it was interesting that, I guess I felt good after because I was like, man, I stood up for myself. Like, it was something important to stand up for yourself, and just me against this huge production with millions and millions of dollars, and you could still invoke change, right? You could still say like, no, I don't care. And it was just because all the other workers were like, yeah, come on. Once they said like, oh, we'll give you another 100, and then we'll give you another 100, like just like that, like then everyone was like, come on. And I seen this old man that I was more worried for him. I was like, man, I thought, like, I was thinking about you too, man. I was like, you look like you're about to die. I said, yeah, it's fine, but it's, I think like 60 years old or something. And this guy was like, yeah, but it's fine. Extra, like, for him, that was his price, right? Like the extra $200 was good enough for him. And it took like, what, 5 minutes? Not even that. Extra $100 for like 5 minutes of something. Not even that, maybe like 2 minutes. Who knows? Just one boom, cut, and then that was it, right? So whatever. Just an interesting story that I thought I'd share. The movie comes out August 5th. I don't even know how much of that. Sometimes you do all this work and it'll be like, it's like a 10-second clip, right? Because they got the money to spare, right? So, hope you guys are good. Oh, yeah, just an update. Like, I had got run over on the bike earlier this week. I don't know what today is. I think it's Saturday, right? So, it was on Tuesday. I got run over. But it ended up being like a really, again, with the whole God does something good out of the unfortunate. I said I was in a weird funk. I ended up producing this amazing, like, I hadn't been inspired to make music in a while, and I put together this musical piece that, it took me about, like, I don't know, almost 3 whole days of just non-stop. Like, once I started, like, one of those days, like, I didn't even shower. I was just so into, working on the music. Went to sleep, woke up the next day, started working on that music again. And just the inspiration, I was like, man, like, now I'm not hoping to get hit again, but I was like, damn, is that all I needed to get inspired to get hit by a car? Like, so I was like, wow, that's amazing, because it put me in a weird space. Like, I was like, why did I get hit? Like, what was the purpose of that? But now all this, like, it's priceless to me. Like, there's nothing that compares to, for me, like the feeling of making music. It's like when that happens, nothing matters. Like, even this, it's sad to say, not sad. The spiritual stuff matters, but at the end, like, if I could just choose the path of, like, when I make music, that's what makes my life happy. That's what I'm happy about this experience, right? This human experience. Making music is everything for me. But I hadn't been inspired in a while. When you get inspired, it's like amazing. I had to get hit by a car to be inspired again. And the creative juices just flowed, And it was everything, in these days. And I just keep listening to this musical piece I put together. I've been playing it over and over and over. And, I'll make a little change here, make a little change there. And when I think it can't be better, then I'll add something. Oh, it sounds better. And I'm just so, like, it's amazing, and the feeling, it's like nothing compares to the feeling, It's like the most euphoric thing without any kind of substances, without this, like, I could go on and on, but it's just been amazing. So, something good came even out of that. Like, who would have thought me getting hit by a car would inspire all this stuff, right? So, that's it. Hope you guys are well. Peace.
Yeah, got the song right here I want to sing for you. I hope you get the message. Listen up. No more, no more, no more. 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 Sometimes this life is complicated. You're feeling let down, fed up, and frustrated. But I'ma demonstrate to you, yeah, to you, but there's a will, there's a way. Cause I ain't never thought I'd live to see this day. But hey, look, I'ma keep on pushing on, being strong. If not for me, then for the next generation. Cause look at what they're facing, man, it ain't looking pretty. These greedy two-pay wearing out to stop there. Cause the truth is they scared, yeah, they hiding. And ruling this world from their high castles. Yeah, they high castles, I'ma battle this out and punch them in the mouth with this knowledge dedicated to the masses, so hear me out. Cause I do sure hope that you make this world better. Cause I guarantee you they ain't gonna do it, stop there. It's time to activate your activism and show them you do more than simply post cool quotes on your media page. And you can feel my rage. Yeah, you know sometimes you gotta speak up. Don't die in silence, the time is now. Yeah, so I'm go and find someone that thinks just like me. And I hope, no I know, together baby we'll succeed. Cause I've tried, yeah I've tried. Not doing or saying anything but I die every day. Just waiting for someone to stop and say, hey, no more, no more, no more. No more, no more, no more. No more, no more, no more. No more, no more. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I wanna feel this way forever.